I am taking a break from listening to the new Justin Bieber album to bring you this. Hello, my fam. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and your number one source for everything. It ends with us saga. I have seen several smaller content creators today claim to have received emails from Google. I looked at the emails and they seem like phishing, or fishy at the very least. The emails all say the following. Hello, Google has received a subpoena for information related to your Google account in a case entitled Blake Lively et al. Versus Wayfarer Studios LLC et al., United States Court for the Southern District of New York. First of all, red flags right there. If Google did receive a subpoena within the last few days, it would not be titled Blake Lively et al. Versus Wayfarer Studios LLC et al. In the court document, this case is labeled Lively versus Wayfarer Studios LLC. That was the first red flag. The email continues, purportedly from Google, saying, this email serves as notice to you that Google may produce information related to your Google account in response to this subpoena unless you email a stamped copy of a motion to quash to google-legal-support@google.com by 10 a.m. Pacific time on July 31st, 2025. To make sure that we receive a copy of what you filed with the court, please attach it in reply to this email. Please also include in your reply our Google internal reference number. They give that. Google, however, cannot give you legal advice about this matter or advise you on what to do here. If you have questions about the subpoena, you can contact an attorney or contact the party or the lawyer who served the subpoena on Google at Ezra Hudson, Manat Phelps and Phillips LLP, and then her phone number. Everything about this screams super sketch. First of all, none of these smaller content creators claim to have actually received the subpoena that Google got. If Google got the subpoena, why did they not include it in this email to the creators? Also, this is not what Google would do. Google would fight this. How do I know this? Because I've been following this case very closely. In Abel versus Jones, Stephanie Jones, Baldoni's former publicist, tried to get information out of Meta and Pinterest. Both of them are still fighting that subpoena request from Stephanie Jones. So Google, who is just as powerful as Meta and Pinterest, their first course of action is not to give information to Ezra Hudson and Blake Lively. No, I don't believe this at all. And it's so vague. Even if they weren't allowed to include the full subpoena, they should at least detail, if this were real, what kind of information you're seeking from my account. It should be noted that Google owns YouTube, so I don't even know. It seems so fake. Because some of these creators, while they need a Google account to have YouTube, that doesn't mean they're using Google for email. So what could they possibly... It's BS, in my expert opinion. What I think happened is not a phishing expedition, because they're not asking for passwords. They're not asking for a credit card or anything like that. I believe that a fan, a fanatic, a content creator, some employee of a former CIA person, somebody purposefully wanted to stir the pot and or get people talking. And it worked. But I don't think this is real. I don't, in my opinion. I could be wrong. We shall see. And I'm not saying that these content creators are lying. I did not say that. I just don't think this subpoena of Google is real. And look at this. I'm giving you an update even before my video is over. Both Meta and Pinterest just yesterday filed a opposition to Stephanie Jones's motion to compel them to respond to her subpoena and give them information. Meta's opposition says the court should deny petitioners' motion because they have failed to carry their burden to overcome the Facebook user's First Amendment right to engage in anonymous speech. When a litigant subpoenas a service provider like Meta for an anonymous user's identifying information, the First Amendment requires the requesting party to demonstrate a prima facie case on the merits of their underlying claim. Petitioners claim the discovery sought by the subpoena is necessary for their defamation claim, but petitioners, Stephanie Jones and JonesWorks, are limited purpose public figures who must sufficiently allege any defamatory statements were made with actual malice. Petitioners, however, do not address the actual malice standard at all in their motion to compel. Accordingly, petitioners have failed to carry their burden under the First Amendment, and Meta respectfully requests that the court deny their motion to compel. Meta then cited all this case law to back up their thinking, and what's especially interesting is that the lawyer for Meta is Julie Schwartz, a lawyer at Perkins and Coy LLP. And guess what? It just so happens that Julie Schwartz is also the lawyer for Pinterest. Not quite sure how or why that happened, but in Pinterest's opposition to the motion to compel, they have almost identical language and make almost the exact same claims. If this was Blake Lively going to Meta or Pinterest, they would respond in slightly different fashion, but the first course of action would be to fight the subpoena request, like Meta has here with Stephanie Jones and Pinterest. You're welcome. So, now that we have all that context and some updates, because I let you know about the Stephanie Jones Pinterest Meta drama when that first became public, what do you think happened with these creators and an alleged subpoena that Google got? Real or not real? And do you agree with my theory? Some naughty person just stirring the pot. Let's discuss everything in the comments section.